Good evening, everyone. My name is Bernard Cana. I'm the editor-photographer of the website known as The Photo Pit. Over to my right, my friend Denny Mazzeo, editor-photographer of The Threshold. Make sure pronunciation is key. Details are key. Anyway, it's Friday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're here once again just doing our discussion of Blue Ridge Rock Festival artist announcements. And tonight we're going through numbers 93 to 98, which covers everything from Thursday, March the 24th until Friday, March the 25th. And man, did Blue Ridge drop some bombs tonight. Some hot announcements today on Friday. I mean, the announcements on Thursday I was pretty decent with, but today, but we'll get there. We will get there. All right. Ashley says she always gets 2 notifications that we're live. See, that's why, Facebook, you're gonna make me move this to YouTube because you're just not being reliable for me right now.
This is not a paid promo, okay? This is not a paid promo.
It's not a paid promo, but YouTube is the one that's always asking, is this a paid promo? No, it's not. It's not even paid from YouTube, sorry. All right. So, that's Bro Pesci to my right. Okay. Okay, Bro Pesci. All right, Bro Pesci. Mr. Mayo. I'm Mr. Cana. This is Mr. Mayo. All right.
Hey, we got Benny Cana and Mr. Mayo.
Yes, exactly.
It'll be very interesting.
Exactly.
Let's apologize to everybody in advance of this because this is going to be interesting.
Okay. We're a little punchy tonight on a Friday. And no, I have not been drinking. I promise you that. I should be, but I haven't. So that's not a paid promo either. And kids don't drink until you're 21 or older. There. Unless you're in Canada, then I think it's 19 and older. That's a whole other story. But we'll leave that alone. Don't listen to me on legal rules. Follow your government rules, whatever they are for drinking at a legal age.
Yes. What's up, brother?
Anyway, all right. Let's start kicking this off, and then we can go into other stuff as we go. All right. So our first announcement, I'm going to start with Thursdays, number 93. American metal band out from Atlanta, Georgia, apparently moved out to LA at some point during their time. Their discography isn't huge. They have 3 EPs, 2 albums, but they did have a release last April, according to what I'm reading. I've seen these guys live and they are hot. They are, to me, like on an up and coming of metal bands right now. Somebody labeled them as like new metal. I don't think that fits. Metalcore, maybe. I'm kind of on the fence about that too.
I think they also embrace the new metal label.
You think so? And when I say new, I mean the NU metal label or the NEW metal label.
Are we really going to go ahead and get into this kind of an argument this early in?
We could. I mean, we could, but no.
The NU. All right.
The NU. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about that with them, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I will say I do like their music. I think they're hot stuff. And if you've paid attention recently over the past year from the music that they dropped, and also for tours that they've been on and festivals they've been invited to, they're a hot item right now. And the band that I'm discussing is Tetrarch. So let me go through here. They've got together around it was around 2007 with their lead guitarist and their rhythm guitarists are the ones who formed the band. And I'll say their lead guitarist, who goes by the name of Diamond, she is just amazing. Killer guitarist, without a doubt in the world. Definitely one of the up-and-comers who should be recognized like larger soon at some point for her work. All right, their discography though. Let's take a look here. So why did you say they had 3, but I only see 2? What? Thank you, Blake, for not being helpful here. EPs, self-released 2013 was their very first one, known as Relentless. They then had their first self-released album, which was known as Freak, and that was in 2017. They then had, and I can't remember which came first. I want to say the EP was after. Let me take a peek here real quick. It was in April. When did the EP hit? Didn't say. All right. So then they had, they signed on them with Napalm Records, solid metal label, by the way. I love the artists that they have on that label.
Yeah, I think we mentioned them a few times on here when
we've talked about a few.
Yeah,
this might be the first time we mentioned Napalm. But they're a music label that had basically done an internal rebrand with bringing in new people, kind of restructuring some stuff. And they just have so many killer artists that are on that list. A lot of them are international and like people that you may never have heard of them, but man, they have like one of my favorite, Powerwolf, is under them, and I love them. Any case, Unstable was their second album, Tetrarch release, and that was with Napalm Records, and that was released on April 30th of 2021. Then they also have an EP known as Addicted. So there's your list of stuff. I will say this: their singles recently have been making the Billboard mainstream charts when it's tracking singles, and they're like charting it around within the top 40. From their album Unstable. So you can't say that these guys don't have something going. They absolutely do. I know you know them, so talk to me about them.
I do. I can't say enough positive stuff about this band. So whether you want to call them new metal, metalcore, rock, hard rock, metal, I really don't care.
Not hard rock for sure. They're definitely metal.
Well, but where's that line end? Where does it begin? Honestly, it doesn't matter. And I think that they embrace the lack of a definition and they just go. They have really, especially on the socials, just keeping up with them since they started playing on, I think it was on Octane, it may have been Liquid Metal, that they really started to get some momentum behind them. Found them on the socials and just every post, and they are all about encouraging others to just, you have a dream, chase it down, make it yours, and keep on going. And the encouragement and the fire and the passion and the energy that they have with them in everything they do is just absolutely phenomenal. And Diamond's been mentioned a couple times already by us already in the comments. I don't even think she is an up and comer of the best out there. She's right there. She is absolutely one of the top, hardest working, just most kick A musicians in the industry right now. And everything I see from her, it's like she just carries a level of humility with her, but also we're not stopping. We're on top of our game, but we are not stopping. You just don't stop here. This is just the beginning. And I think, at least for me, I can't speak for you because you do range on the older side of where I am on the timeline in our world. It's cool seeing they always do these throwbacks, and they're always wearing the Slipknot shirts and the Korn shirts, and it's like me when I was in high school wearing all that stuff, and God, to be able to do something like this and to see them kind of just walk into that is just really cool to see, and to see how far they've come in a short period of time. They're just friggin' awesome. This is a non-negotiable. I will be there. I will be losing my mind, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and from even seeing in the comments, they are, and I know they're very fan friendly. The one I just saw comment here, and I love this one. Megan says, I met Diamond's mom at Epicenter, and she was yelling at everyone to make sure they went to go see her daughter.
Yes.
Love that. That happened to me at the Innings Festival this past weekend, which I thought was pretty funny too, with an artist. Go see my son. He's in this band. He's a drummer.
I think that's awesome.
I love that. I love seeing parents support their
fighters up in Northern Virginia at one point, and he stopped the show and put the spotlight there in the back of the arena. There his mom was, and he's like, "Hey, Mom, thank you for being here." Just that's what it's about, dude. It's just awesome.
I love that. All right, but yeah, don't miss their set if you can. I mean, they're gonna kill at Blue Ridge. I love it. I love that edition. That's a great one. See, and I like this edition because it's they're a younger artist to me, from the aspect of young. I mean, 2007 I know is that was what, 15 years ago.
15 years ago already. Yeah.
Right? I mean, I say young, but I mean, to me they are, I mean, to me they are. So All right. Next band. But I was saying I really love that Blue Ridge is like, helping to support some of these newer, younger artists who are making their way up, to help put them on bigger stages, to help, push them, into a bigger audience so that people see and know who they are and get to learn them. And hopefully one day they'll really elevate, onto headlining tours and such. I could see it from them. I think they just got to stay the course.
They have the potential to close out festivals.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they do. They do indeed. All right, next band. This one took a turn to me from Tetrarch to this next announcement.
Much softer. Was not expecting them to go like this for this band.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So soft, this band. No, the opposite, complete opposite. Very heavy. This is a band I could see them, if Blue Ridge sets it up that way, putting them on, that heavy metals, that heavier stage that we kept alluding to, right? That I could see them easily putting them over there to perform and watch the mosh pits go nuts, especially for them. Hardcore band out of Kentucky, formed in 2013. They're currently on Pure Noise Records, and they're making a headline for themselves. Literally, they're on a headlining tour now. They toured with Gojira, if that tells you anything. And their fan base right now is insane, and seeing how many people love them. And the band I'm referring to is Knocked Loose. And I will say, I had not seen them before until I saw them when I was covering that tour for Gojira, when they stopped in Orlando, and I was, needless to say, surprised by how heavy they really were. I was like, whoa. Like, I wasn't expecting that type of throwdown, and the pits on that floor were just nuts. Discography. So 2014, they had an EP that's known as Pop Culture. 2015, they had a self-titled with themselves and a band I believe is Damaged Goods. Then 2016 was their first actual studio album that was known as Laugh Tracks. And I want to see real quick nope, I do not have any nope, no info there on where it sat on recording. All right. In 2019, they then had A Different Shade of Blue. That was their sophomore EP. That album got accolades, at least within the media, heavily. But All Press, Loudwire, Revolver. It was considered at one point in 2019, like within the 50 best metal albums. That's how much waves it made. And then they actually had another EP that went with it called Mistakes Like Fractures. And then most recently in 2021, they had a Tear in the Fabric of Life, which is their recent EP that they were supporting on their tour. So that's Knocked Loose on its discography history. So what do you got?
This band is loud and heavy. And
Understatement.
I really don't know that you could say more than that. It's not my style from a recorded, I'm just going to go to this band on a normal day. But when you see them, and I've been able to see them a few times now, it is just mind-blowing what they bring to the stage and how the crowd inevitably feeds off of them into an absolute storm. I mean, it's phenomenal to see that energy feed and flow between the stage and the fans. And that alone should make you want to be in front of them. It's just, you can't put to words that adrenaline rush of seeing something like that. Courtney's saying that someone threw a trash can into the pit.
That sounds right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, people just lose their minds at just what they do as artists. I mean, it's just amazing. So huge recommendation.
I have two words to just describe them on stage: controlled chaos, because that's what it is.
Yes.
Right. I mean, they are just, they're so crazy on stage. They're wild. The more the fans get wild, the wilder they get on stage. I mean, you have to see that for yourself. The fans, when Knockloose is on stage, then is my other 2 words is uncontrolled chaos, because sometimes that's what it becomes. And I've seen pits at their shows, even from videos of, and it just gets nuts. So, what you know, if you're going to attend that set at Blue Ridge, attend with caution. That's all I'll say. If you're
That's
not
one
an
of those.
experienced mosher, that may not be the one for you. I'll say that. So.
That's one of those sets that, after the fact, when you look back, and if somebody happened to have like drone footage of what the crowd does,
Oh yeah,
that would be the one to go back and watch. And you can sit back and be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on? That is amazing. So
I will probably, yeah. I was gonna say, I think they will be probably within the top 5 of wildest pits at Blue Ridge in 2022.
Yeah.
Lamb of God is there, so that might be the number 1 rating for me right now until we see more, more of the other bands. But I think that Knock Loose will definitely be in the top 5 without a doubt.
Yeah, I would definitely concur with that.
All right. So that was 94. So, and 3, 94. Nope. Wait, hang on. 93, 94, 95, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Yep, I can count. So this is 95. This is the one that hit me in the feels yesterday. I will say that. Oh no, it did without a doubt. They're described as deathcore. I could go with that. I'm all right with that.
Yeah, I could definitely.
Yeah, I could definitely go with that. Out of Knoxville, Tennessee, founded in 2006. Their discography is pretty long, and I will say I absolutely love this band. I love them for their energy. I love them for their sound. And when I saw this announcement, I may have done a F yeah and throw up horns and wooted a bit, because if they're in town, I won't miss them.
Can we go back to this? You said you wooted a bit. Can you explain what that would look like?
Woo woo.
That's fantastic. Okay,
there you
awesome.
Go.
I'm glad that is now
I loved
on
it.
Please do not edit this before you post it.
This is getting cut and deleted. There you go. I have editing skills. I can do that. Any case, so and their name is based out of a district in East London where Jack the Ripper considerably murdered, unfortunately, a lot of people during the time of the 1800s.
So this is not a religious reference.
Not at all. Okay. No. But in any case, but the band that I'm talking about here is Whitechapel. And God, I can't tell you, when I saw that announcement, how excited I was to see them there. Ironically enough, too, the majority of their band has been together since the start, since 2006. So except for their drummer currently is a touring drummer. But the majority of the people who are there have been there from the get-go. I think it's very interesting. All right, so let's talk a little bit about their discography, because it's pretty big. It's long.
Before you do, Courtney,
okay.
I'm a little concerned that you have a favorite serial killer.
What?
Just okay. God bless. I'll pray for you. I hope everything goes well. He has a favorite serial killer, dude. Yeah. So I'll let you go to the discography. I can't let that comment go.
Before we go there, I admit I'm a huge true crime buff. I'm a major true crime buff. And I've read books left and right on various, profiling serial killers, this and that. And the Jack the Ripper ones have just unfortunately stuck in my head. And I just engage and engorge of any information I can get around that time frame with that murderer. I don't know why. It's very interesting. And the theories that are out there about who it was and how they committed the crimes and stuff. I love the information. So yes, and I don't want to say I have a favorite serial killer. And if I did say that, I'm sorry, not meant to be, but but I really do. I do love all the information around Jack the Ripper. As Stacy knows, I have books on my shelf about the murders and history and stuff like that. So yeah.
Somebody check this man's Google history.
No, don't do that. Definitely don't do that. Unless you want to be blinded for life, don't do that. Any case, so Discography on Whitechapel. Back to the topic at hand. Thank you. All right. The Somatic Defilement that came out in 2007. And that was with Candlelight Records at the time. In 2008, right behind it, they ended up signing with Metal Blade Records and have been there ever since. This is Exile, was their 2008 record that actually at sophomore album, right, number 2, charted on the Billboard 200 at 118. It peaked on the Heat-Seeking chart at number 2 during that time frame. A New Era of Corruption was number 3. That came out in 2010. That made it on the Billboard 200, peaked at number 43. I will say, like, metal bands peaking on the Billboard 200 is an achievement unto itself as far as I'm concerned, because I think like mainstream sales just always have pop artists that usually just dominate that, you know, that area of the Billboard charts, you know, the Britneys, you know, and whoever else is out there today that I don't follow. But
we're officially discussing Britney and Whitechapel in the same breath of air. This is
I know.
amazing. This is amazing.
So, but when I see metal bands chart on the 200, and especially when they chart high, it just makes me happy.
It's absolutely huge.
It makes me happy. All right. Their self-titled album was in 2012. That peaked at number 47 on the Billboard charts. It made it to number 3 on the hard rock charts, so I thought it was really odd, but whatever. Our Endless War 2014, that was their most successful record on the Billboard 200. That peaked at number 10. It made it to number 2 on the rock charts, number 2 on the indie charts. It hit number 1 on the hard rock charts, which I just find bizarre because it's not like they need like a metal chart for Billboard. If anyone from Billboard is actually watching this, they need like a specific metal
Create
chart.
a hashtag and we'll follow.
Right? Yeah, there you go. Billboard metal chart. All right. 2016, Mark of the Blade. That's a great album, by the way. That came to number 72 on the Billboard 200. It hit number 1 on the hard rock. So they had 2 number 1s back to back. The Valley in 2019 peaked at number 143 on the Billboard. It made it to number 7 on the hard rock charts. And then the last album, which was Kin, that came out in 2021 in October, unfortunately didn't chart, which I thought was really odd. Go figure that. And they do have one EP that came out in 2011 known as Recorrupted. So that's your Whitechapel discography history. Tell me about your experience with them, if you have any. And I have a story.
And no, they're absolutely just insane. I mean, I don't know how you follow up. Thank you, Courtney, for starting that hashtag. Appreciate that. I don't know how we just follow up other than this is a band to see, period. If you haven't heard of them, this is a band to check out. Whatever you got to do, put them on your radar and do not miss, because yeah, just hell yeah. I'd give you a good woo, but it'd be really hard to compare and compete. And
Cameron says that he cannot edit that from his memory now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad that we're doing this through your page, so that hopefully, you know, if anybody has to sue for you know, for damages, that's on you, brother.
That's also on me. See, Ashley says she has a favorite serial killer. I'm just saying.
No, I love this. I feel like we can have an entire discussion for a night on true crime, apparently. But I'm okay with that.
We could. Well, we won't, but we could.
We won't.
All right.
But if
so
we
those are all.
today.
Yeah, that's all. Those are all of Thursday's announcements. If you bear with me 1 second, as I'm going to go over to, because before we get into Friday, I need to look at something real quick and see. Okay, interesting. All right, now I can continue, and I'll explain in a minute. So, yesterday when we had I think it was on the Whitechapel announcement. Remember we talk about pay attention to details, right? Read those announcements carefully. And I posted this in the fan zone, like right after I caught it. And the Whitechapel announcement said that today, right, for Friday, we were going to get 2 top 15 artists dropped as part of our announcements. And hell yeah, we did. And we're going to go into them right now. So the first one, and this is why I wanted to go looking where I was looking at the lineup. And we'll talk about this in a second of where they ranked them. But this person, remember that 50 million album sales artists we were talking about that they were all like they sold over 50
that
million.
created some speculation.
That created a lot of
I
speculation. Like
enjoyed
who could
reading
like
those comments.
Aerosmith? Who else was in there? Nickelback got dropped.
I think
Who else was on
Metallica.
that list? Metallica, Judas Priest. I think somebody threw that one in there.
Yep.
The Beatles would be on that list. Just saying,
I think
because
Pink
they
Floyd
would.
was referenced.
Do you want to hear? Do you want to hear something funny? You know who would not have made that list though? It was, I think it was Journey, because they had 49 million in the U.S. Now, we noticed that they didn't say if it was U.S. and international. They just said 50 million.
I did
Right.
see
So
that. I saw that
yeah.
comment too. They were trying to clarify. It's like,
Yeah, can we get a little more?
clarify
Right. Yeah,
for
makes
the-
a
come
big
on.
difference.
Come
Makes a big
on.
difference. I thought that was funny though. But yeah,
That was
Journey
awesome.
only has in the US, they only sold 49 million. And that was based on Business Insiders, and it was a recent article from this year, from like March 9th of 2022. I was like, they've never sold 50 mil? What? Made no sense. Any case, go buy a Journey album, break there, get them over the top.
Do your part.
Do your part. So, any case, not only 50 million albums, this person's career spans over 50 years.
I'm going to
Like,
leave my comments alone. I'll leave my
50
comments
years,
alone.
right? Originating out of Phoenix, Arizona, back in 1964. If Ozzy's the godfather of metal, where would you call this person? That's the interesting question. Because is he the uncle of metal?
I mean, if you look at him, maybe the Dracula.
Yes, maybe, maybe
I mean,
so.
great
I don't
gramps.
know. I don't know, but I absolutely love his music, and I had a jaw drop moment. I will admit, when I saw when you messaged me today with that announcement, my jaw probably dropped a little bit on
Yeah,
that
I was
one.
really disappointed to not be able to say that one on the phone with you when that dropped, because I know you're typically heads down, not able
Yeah,
to.
I was head down at work, and I was not expecting this at all. But the drop from this morning, which would have been number 96, right, is Alice Cooper.
According to my notes, yeah, Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper. Holy crap, people! What more do I need to say? I mean, seriously, what more do I need to say? It's Alice Cooper, right? Like, do I need anything more? I mean, his career span is ridiculously long. We could talk.
I don't think we need to hit 50 years worth of discography, because
sure we do.
So if you want to do that, I'm going to go make myself a sandwich. I'll be back in about 30, and
I'll do a little quick highlight for a second. Because remember, right, I mean, it's 50 years worth of music that he has, but people say Alice Cooper, normally a lot of people want to think it's Alice Cooper him, which wasn't always true. Alice Cooper used to be Alice Cooper as a band name before he went solo. So the band itself of Alice Cooper released their first album in 1969 and finished their last album in 1973 before they split, or before he split and technically went himself as a solo artist. But the original band itself was Alice Cooper. So keep that in mind first. So his first solo album didn't come out until 1975, and he's been producing records all the way until 2021. I mean, I could go through this list for you, but we'll be here all night. But the one I do want to call out, because I feel it needs to be, because it is by far one of my favorite albums of his. And I'm sure, Danny, you might be old enough to have known it, remembered it. 1989 of the album Trash. Do you remember that album?
I remember the album. I can't say that I remember what I was doing when that album came out, other than probably watching Saturday morning cartoons, listening to my baby brother scream, whatever.
But the reason why this one I find is so, I mean, this album to me was like, just it made it to number 2 on the UK, albums sales charts, and peaked at number 20 on the Billboard 200. But the reason for me, like, why this I thought was like so, and it did go platinum in the US, by the way, just so you're aware. In Australia, this is interesting. In Australia, their platinum status is different. Apparently, he had 70,000 units sold, and that was considered platinum. So I wonder, I'm going to guess it's like 50 over there for sales type. But yeah, in the US, he sold over a million copies of this album. But the reason why I think that this was why it's, to me, was such a most memorable album was from the one single Poison, because that single was his first top 10 hit since the single You and Me in 1977. Think about that. It took him 12 years, no, 11, no, 12 years. That's right, 12 years before he'd have another top 10 single after releasing one in 1977. And this album just had such great songs on here anyway. Bed of Nails, which I mean is a great one. But here's the funnier one from this album. Hell is Living Without You. That track was also written by John Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora along with Alice Cooper. When will you ever hear that ever again?
Pretty amazing. I mean, think about the names that we're discussing on this call alone. Like, I mean, just the amount of history that's in here, just tied to Alice Cooper. Right? I mean, it's just, yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, well, that's what happens when you have. Hang on, I gotta go find what album was this on. I mean, but what do you expect when you have, 50 years of a career and still going strong?
And that's it. It's still going strong, and not to where he's been diluted and
no,
like
not at all.
He's there for appearances only. I mean, he's gonna absolutely crush the set, and the audience is going to be insane, both in number of people that are there at the stage for him, as well as the energy there for him. It's just going to be amazing. Just everything about this announcement is just fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. And then even more interesting here, and I'll hit you with another one. We're talking about these like kind of mixtures. Where was this? So the next album that he had after that is known as Hey Stupid, which came out in 1991. Trash was from 89. Hey Stupid's guest musicians, right? And writers. Hang on one second. Where was this? Feed My Frankenstein, which I think is probably the most memorable single off of that album, had guest musicians of Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, Nikki Sixx, and Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. How do you go wrong with that?
You don't. I mean, that's
no,
exactly.
you don't.
I mean,
you don't.
I mean, this guy, it's a who's who in rock and roll.
Yeah,
I mean,
it absolutely is. And even on the song Hey Stupid, he had Joe Satriani actually has a number of singles that he performed on that album, but he had Slash on that single as well, and Ozzy Osbourne as a guest, vocalist.
It's a big family reunion, man.
I mean, it's just, I mean, he's such an influence in the history of rock. And almost to a point where I would almost say that the Alice Cooper band could have been maybe considered even early punk rock, maybe. Yeah, depending on how you look at, the actual music sound, it's like
you look at the evolution of it. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Right? Yeah, I mean, it's got a little bit of that feel and vibe. I mean, but there's been so many musicians' lives that he's touched, so many people, that he's influenced in their history, fans, whatever. I mean, he's just legend, and I found, I can't remember where I caught it, but a tidbit which just kind of blew my mind, because I'll admit, this was my guilty pleasure, this particular person. Did you know that he had a bassist who was with him, as part of his solo band, who then went on to have a pretty good career during the hair metal years, in the like mid 80s to late 80s, by the name of Kip Winger. And I absolutely loved Winger and still do to this day. So that just blows my mind that I was like, he was with Ozzy Osbourne at one point.
It's just, again, it's the who of everything.
1985 to 1987, Kip Winger was his bassist. It's like, go figure that one out. Anyway, Yeah. Do we need to say anything more about Alice Cooper outside of what? So along with Tenacious D on Siege 3, that Alice Cooper will also be headlining that particular stage.
Which is just, yeah, I'm just all smiles, man. Like it's
Alice
just
Cooper.
fun. And
Yeah.
and I've said this about a couple other bands that have been announced so far. If I was in a band and I was being asked to play, and then I found out that I was playing during the same time as Alice Cooper, I would be royally pissed.
Yeah.
Like I would,
I would be
like, I can't do this, man. Like I need somebody to come on up, take this for me. I gotta go. Like
yeah. Yeah. I'm with you.
Cooper, man. Like,
I'm
what more do you say?
I'm with you. So Courtney brought up something, but I'm going to bring it up toward when we talk about the other two artists first. It's regarding the lineup and ranking, but I want to discuss that. Remind me. All right, let's move on. 97. So 97. They list them. Somebody lists them as rock. No, 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 no. This is metalcore to its core. This band, right? By far. Out of Southfield, Michigan. No, you don't think so? I think so.
This is a band. I'm going to stir the pot over this band. I love these guys.
I
Oh
do
my
love these
god, I
guys.
love these guys.
Don't stir the pot for these guys. I'll explain why. Any case, Southfield, Michigan, 2013. They last year, their returning band to Blue Ridge Rock Festival. Last year, that was the only festival they played. So if you had wanted to see them on a festival setting, Blue Ridge was the only one you could catch them at. Exclusive. How about them apples right there?
And they made it count.
Oh my God. And did they make it worth it? They made it worth it. And I'll tell a story about this after I go through this real quick, and after you do your side. But the band I'm talking about is I Prevail. I Prevail's discography is unfortunately very small because they're kind of new to the scene. They had an EP in 2014 with Fearless Records called Heart versus Mind. Believe it or not, that EP actually charted at number 88 in its peak on the Billboard 200, which is pretty impressive. More impressive is that their first actual studio album, Lifelines, in 2016, peaked at number 15 on the Billboard 200. First album debut, and you get into the top 15.
Swinging.
Holy crap! Holy
they
crap!
Absolutely came out swinging. Keep going. I'll do my best not to interrupt. It's just hard not to.
But then we have to talk about the album because it is the album of all albums, and the press that was pushed behind this one and the reception that this album got was ridiculously stupid, and it needed to be. In 2019, was Trauma, and Trauma peaked at number 14 on the Billboard 200. Did fairly well across even international sides too, like making it to like at least in some, like in Canada, it hit 22. In Germany, it peaked at 32. In Australia, it peaked at number 6. You know, so the Australian fans are strong for I Prevail. So, but that album,
this is a worldwide effort. Okay, worldwide.
Yeah, that album, holy, is something special. That's like the album where you put out an album that good, and then if I was an artist, I would sit to myself and go, well, oh crap, how are we gonna top this? I mean, seriously, because that album is so good. I don't doubt that they can't. I'm sure they will, but just, oh my gosh, that album.
Well, they had a very simple solution of how to top it, and that's to make a live album.
Yeah, that will do it too.
I mean, what else do you do, right?
Yeah. What else do you do? Any case, that's a discography. You could talk, then I'll ramble a little about them because
if I give you time, these guys. So I actually found them thank you to my wife, and because she was on a random YouTube kick one night back in 2014 and found their Taylor Swift cover of Blank Space, and that was it. Like at that point we were like, oh my god, who are these guys and how do we get more of them? Because for one, you could tell that their video of that was just them having a blast. I think they ended the video with, hey, by the way, here's my phone number, and like just trying to get at her, which was hysterical. But then you listen to the EP of Heart vs. Mind, and it's like, oh my, like this isn't just a band that's putting out a cover and trying to just say, hey, yeah, we're just gonna do this. It's no, we are a band and we are going to do this.
Yeah.
And so from seeing them as an early day intro on a festival back, I think it was 2015, to where they are today is just ridiculously mind-blowing.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
I cannot think of this band though without an absolute nod to the Icon Pit Crew. These guys and the Pit Crew are synonymous in this area at this point. If you go and look at any of the I Prevail footage from their live DVD that they just dropped I think it was last year, you've got, I don't know how many times that they shot and like made sure they got the Pit Crew sign, the circle, I mean, just all of the energy entirely. And I mean, it's just amazing. And they shout out for the Pit Crew. And if you're not familiar with the Pit Crew, it is a massive mosh pit family. I think we're in all 50 states at this point. I actually meant to wear a Pit Crew shirt tonight, just out of love for them. But you know, life happens.
Don't change.
Happens. One doesn't happen. You know, it is what it is. But yeah, I Prevail is. Bernard, like I told you, if these guys were to play every night for a freaking year, I would go every night and be just as giddy every single day. Just hands down, bring it on. So that's all. That's all. I just, yeah.
Okay. I'm not saying you're wrong. You're not. Looking at the comments real quick.
Say it again on record. I think I'm going to make that my my ringtone. So just that way, like if I ever need to remind my wife, I'm gonna be like, Bernard, can you call me real quick, bud?
There you go. So Christina says she got her ass kicked at that set in the most loving way possible.
I mean, it's a beautiful way to say it.
It is a beautiful way to say it, and it was true. Looking through the comments real quick. Let's see here. No, Megan, don't miss them. That set was crazy. That set was so crazy. Christina wants to say, can we mention their videos and their huge impact on mental health? Yeah, I mean, they're, well, you know, I think Courtney even said it too, that a lot of those songs off of Trauma were because of personal struggles, you know, they were influenced by that, you know, and I think just that alone, you know, by the title, you can tell of how, you know, they are supportive of that, speak out around it. And you know how Danny and I feel about that too. We're all for that. And any artist that supports mental health awareness and such, we're all behind 100% without a doubt. I'll tell you my little story about I Prevail. And this one was, if I get choked up, it's because it's that personal to me. So when I Prevail came out with Trauma in 2019, they went on tour. And with that tour, there was no doubt in my mind that I could get cleared for the show and I'd be able to shoot it and not worry about it. And I was dying to photograph this band. I found out that the Orlando show, when they were coming to, I was not going to be here. I was out of town with the family elsewhere. And I was like, well, oh bleep. So, but you know, I'm like, okay, maybe it's not a big deal. There'll be another leg, you know, right? You think there'll be another leg that'll come around. So, you know, I figured in 2020, I'd see them again. We all know what happened in 2020, right? Do we even need to discuss that?
Preferably not.
No. So now I'm like, no shows, missed I Prevail, maybe 2021 if we're lucky. You know, if we're lucky. No, when tours started coming back and started getting announced, no sign of I Prevail doing anything, no sign of whatever, right? I mean, I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, are they gonna do anything this year? And then the Blue Ridge announcement came out that they were going to be on it. And I lost my you-know-what. Because I sat there thinking, I have to get cleared for this festival because that is the only time and chance I'm going to have to ever see these guys, to get a chance to photograph them, because I don't know what they're going to do for 2022. Like who knows what tour, I mean, because, when we're in pandemic times, we just don't know. And I sat there going, I have to be there. It's the biggest reason I wanted to be at Blue Ridge was for I Prevail. So when the approval came through and they said, the media team that was handling at the time said, don't worry, you're good. We got you covered. I may have broken down and like just cried that day, because I knew I was going to finally get that chance to see them, finally get that chance to photograph them. And then when we were finally at that pit at the URW stage and they came out to Bow Down as their opening song, I lost it. Completely
They didn't
lost it.
come out. They broke down every wall.
Oh, they did everything. And I just lost it in the pit because I just couldn't even imagine, here I was finally get to photograph a band I have really learned to love, and waited 2 years to finally catch them. And they come out with one of my favorite singles ever.
Yeah.
I couldn't. And then they kicked us out of the pit because things are so wild because of all the crowd servers that were coming over the top. They kicked us out after I don't even know if we made it to the end of the second song.
I don't think
we were there,
I
think for 1.5.
The second song that everybody included.
And they bailed everyone out because it was just too crazy. And I'm if security does that again to me this year, I may kill someone. I'm just saying. I may go get my favorite.
I'd say I got your back, but I've seen some of them security guys, and I'm going to say yes, sir, and I'm going to go.
Yeah, I mean, 2020, that the pandemic took a lot of toll on me on a mental side, so Blue Ridge was supposed to be my big, mental relief in that sense, for everything that had gone on with work, with pandemic, with home, it's just, I needed that break so bad. So to finally get the chance to do that, those guys are just near and dear to me right now. So any case, that's my story. Sorry, I had to share.
No, it's in the feels. Like I distinctly remember, I honestly, most of Blue Ridge was an absolute whirlwind last year, just and I think it was for everybody for a lot of reasons. The leading up to the festival, through the pandemic, I mean, everybody had all this pent up energy and just emotion in every regard. But I mean, just from the different things that I was doing throughout the course of that weekend with helping out with the festival and everything, I made sure that, because I couldn't even see all of their set, I had to bail, but I knew I had to be there when they started. And so I was at the corner of their stage when I saw them, when they came out, and they just crushed with Bow Down. I mean, just absolutely destroyed. And it was one of those moments where I felt everything. Melinda, as you said, an eruption of emotion. Like,
that's what it was.
That is exactly what it was at the corner of that stage. Like everything that I had pent up throughout the course of the pandemic to that point, just absolute, no holds barred, just gone. It was just insane.
Yeah, that was me. I was like, hang on. Let's see. Brian did an interview in 2020 about having to cancel the tour and everything the band went through during the start of the shutdowns. I'll have to go find that.
Christina, can you share that to the fan zone and maybe pin it or something? I think particularly, I feel like there's a lot of people that are still struggling with a whole lot of mental health stuff for various reasons. Always is an understatement.
It is an understatement.
With I Prevail being mentioned to bring back, I would love to see some additional energy towards that, if at all possible. And if not with pinning it, at least if you can share it and send it to me in a Facebook message, whatever, that is absolutely one I want to make sure I see. So thank you in advance. And if you don't do it, I'll forgive you. And, eventually, I guess I'll go to therapy.
You will. All right. So, I Prevail.
So now somehow we're supposed to follow up and already 5 announcements.
And we will.
Here we go. I mean, it's 6
because 98 was just as good as everyone else. I mean, 98 was, to me, 98 is like one of my favorite ones too. Rock band out of San Antonio, Texas, formed in 2003. I find what's interesting with this band is that hang on a second, that they, to me, and I mentioned this, I think in the comment on the actual Blue Ridge announcement for them, I find that they're the most underrated band, but they're just so damn good. And people, I hope, like, I really feel like this band needs to have been elevated, because honestly, every time when I've seen them, I've always seen them as a support. And this is a band that should be headlining stages, by this point to me, because they're just so good. And I'm also a little biased because they're very media friendly, like very media friendly. Like every time I've shot them, they let us stay in the pit for the entire set because that's the way they are. They're just those type of guys. And my wife really loves them too.
Thanks.
She's looking at me like, who is this? And the band I'm talking about is Nothing More. So, and if you've not heard of Nothing More before, you can go check out videos of them. I can wait. I'm good.
Look, you wait. I'm going to start talking then, because
all right. I'll go through discography. So they start off in 2004, one called Shelter. 2007 was Save You, Save Me. 2009 was The Few Not Fleeting. And then it wouldn't be till 2014. That's a gap. Where they would do their self-titled album. And then in 2017, they did The Story We Tell Ourselves. And I will tell you, that album is so good. It's so good. My favorite single off of that one is Go to War. And if you've not heard that, go listen to it. It's a fantastic single. And I really love it. And it's, now I will say this about, and by the way, that album actually was nominated for Best Rock Album at the Grammys in 2017. Go figure that. Best Rock Performance, Best Rock Song for Go to War. So it's a great album. But I will say this about Nothing More, just on a quick note. Their rock style is not, I would say, standard for what you'd expect a rock artist to be. They love to vary, right? Yeah, they don't
have any kind of a cookie cutter
Nope.
approach to their stuff.
Nope. Not at all. Not at all. They're very unique. They're very eclectic. They love to mix and sample stuff sometimes into their music. They're just so individualistic, and that's what I love about them. So, all right, there's my shtick. I'm done with that. I'm sorry. You can go.
So the most important thing about this band and their announcement today is actually twofold. So first off, with the announcement, which in and of itself is phenomenal and a bucket list for me. I would love to be able to meet them. And this isn't a band I want to meet to just oogle and go crazy about from a fan perspective, as much as it is a thank you opportunity, because their music just, it hits different. But before I even get to that, this is a huge day for them because they debuted their new single today.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they debuted it yesterday on Octane, but today it went everywhere. And holy hell, that single slaps something fierce. Like, oh yeah, if you have not heard it, go find it, turn it the hell up and listen to it at least twice, loud enough that Stacy can hear it from Bernard's background and we can all, because holy crap, period. Oh my God. All right, a little bit of fanboying done. I will back up. So
a little bit.
Like, you thought you're bad for Ginger. Holy crap.
Yeah.
So the amount of talent from these guys, it's not, again, they do things their way, and it's amazing to see what they've done. And this, even when they go a more ballady approach, Fade In, Fade Out, is that song brings me to my knees.
Stacy just agreed with you. Just so
See,
you
I know
know.
I like you. I really hope you decide to travel up from Florida to Virginia, and finally I get to meet you. So yeah. But Fade
Danny's
In,
expecting you to come now, just so you're aware. That's what he's saying.
I shared this on the fan zone. Um, that song, they had a T-shirt come out with it, and it's an hourglass, and you have a younger hand and you have a skeleton hand holding that hourglass. And I got that artwork tattooed on myself, and I had
I saw
always
that.
told myself, I was like, as much as I love music, do I really want to put something from a band on me? You know, you think about all the bad blood that happens, but the way that song hits, just, and maybe it's because my own father is getting a little bit older, and like I'm really noticing it at times, and because he is also in Florida and I'm not, and you know, it's just that distance that I just, all of it, I'm just, oh my god, that song. And then you go to the opposite end of the spectrum with them for This Is the Time and Christ Copyright, and like you name it, and this band is just absolutely phenomenal, just absolutely phenomenal. And then they, you know, they have their shtick with their own instruments that they've created. I'm not going to completely spoil that, but go find some footage of them. You will not
I'll,
see more energy, more talent.
I'll say it in 2 words: the Scorpion. That's all you need to go look up. Nothing more. The Scorpion. You'll see for yourself.
So I would say, for me personally, if you couldn't tell, out of 98 bands that have been announced, they are easily a top 3 for me out of 98, with another 73 or so to go.
Foolish
So,
math.
yeah, just depending on where we land. So
It's scary that you did that so quickly.
I'm a banker by day. All right.
Yes, I know.
I'm
I know.
surrounded by math. It's
I
what
know.
I do.
I
All
know.
right.
I get it.
So,
I get it.
you know,
Um,
that wasn't a promotion for banks.
no, it's not a paid promotion. Not for a bank either.
So yeah,
CJ says he has a
nothing
Shine
more.
Down tattoo. And
Dude,
then Courtney
let's see
says
his
she has
name.
Coheed lyrics.
And so that thread that was started on the fan zone, I love how many tattoos there are out there that are inspired by or straight up of the music, and it's just phenomenal. Like,
I know. I keep saying I want to get one, but I haven't just done it yet.
you need to. There was
Maybe.
I don't even know if we talked about it. It was in the fine print on one of the announcements of, do you want to see a tattoo setup?
I saw that.
There.
Yep.
And
I did
would
see that.
say, I think Todd Stone would say yes.
I think a lot of
depending
people would
on
say
whether
yes.
it's actually sold out, because Todd Stone does promise himself a tramp stamp for selling out. So, you know, I personally, I would more than likely go ahead and bite the bullet, and my wife will flip out just because I think it's her turn to get ink since it was my turn last. So we'll see. We'll have to time that accordingly.
I will say there is another festival that already does this on a regular basis. They ran they actually ran at the same time as Blue Ridge last year.
Yes.
So I like the idea. I personally, if I'm going to get my first, probably would not do it there. But here's my thing. I want to do it with an artist that I can get to personally know, really get to see their stuff, really have the trust and faith in them and their work. And I feel like, if I go do that at a festival,
So
that
like a
doesn't give me
Steve-O
that
smiley
connection.
face, or Steve-O like on your back isn't going to cut it.
No. If I'm going to get something, I want to get something nice and worthwhile. So that's just me. But everyone else wants to do it. That's perfectly fine. That's good. All right. So those are all of our artist announcements that went through from yesterday and today. But I wanted to talk about that end specifically, the rankings, because we promised we were going to get 2 top 15s. We did. We have, hang on a second. That's 3, 6, 9. Alice Cooper came in at number 10. I Prevail came in at number 13.
It's telling.
So,
Very telling.
Okay. I'll say once. I'm kind of curious as to how the Blue Ridge staff is ranking the artist, because they put Three Doors Down and A Day to Remember over Alice Cooper. I may have a little issue with that, but that's my personal opinion. But here's the crazier part. If Alice Cooper is at number 10, who the F is at number 1, 2, and 3? Think about that for a second, people. Legendary Alice Cooper, 50 years worth of music, is not a main stage 1 and 2, the side-by-side stages. Remember, 5 stages, right? They're listing as number 3. So I'm assuming number 3 is separate and off elsewhere. And 1 and 2 are side-by-side. Danny, you kind of agreement with that on what we think is going to happen setup-wise? No, you disagree with that? Is it 3 stages side-by-side?
I just disagree with anything at this point.
Oh, work with me here, dude. Work with me. Work with me. So if they're headlining stage 3, who are the headliners for 1 and 2? If Alice Cooper is on 3,
it's probably not going to be McCartney. I will tell you that.
I wouldn't expect it to be, but still, I mean, that's food for thought there, right? I mean, get your mind gears here for a second and wonder about that. You know, if they drop someone like Alice Cooper, Alice Cooper's down at number 10 out of the top 15. Hell, are those other people above him outside of A Day to Remember and Three Doors Down? I can't wait to see the rest of this list. That's all I'm saying. I'm excited for this now, because this is crazy to me that I was like, what do you mean Alice Cooper's down at number 10? I thought he was going to be in top like 6.
You would think so. You would think so.
I would think so, but you know, like I said, I don't know how they're
5
ranking
stages. Somebody has to headline every stage. So, you know, it's 5 stages, 4 days.
Yeah, right. A heavy stage, a Warped Tour stage, right? Then the third stage sounds like right now when you have Alice Cooper and Tenacious D on, it's like going to just be a mix, you know, of just, you know, rock metal, I guess. And then main stage 1 and 2, you know, side by side. And I have to admit, I really love that lineup, like doing it that way. It's really the best way to do it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I actually like the way they had Monster URW in that kind of caddy corner in a sense, you know, corner to corner. I actually did like that a lot because I thought it was cool that you could have a group of people who were sitting kind of between them both and being able to watch 2 separate sets at the same time. Now, I don't know how they're hearing it, but I thought that was neat that they could see them.
Honestly, I mean, I wouldn't say that it was a defined line between the two, but there was clearly a barrier where you can hear one and not have to go too far to be able to hear the other without the other one drowning it out, unless it was Lamb of God and Cedar. So
never gonna live that down. Never gonna let that go.
We shouldn't. I mean, it was amazing.
Favorite memory for Blue Ridge right now. That and I Prevail and Spirit Box.
Comments. Everyone from that Mudvayne tour, God, if they showed up, that would just be amazing. For those that don't know,
who's on that tour right now?
Rob Zombie, Mudvayne, Powerman 5000, and Static X.
Oh, that tour! Oh God, that tour
that was announced, and I'm like, oh my God, put me back in high school. I'm ready to go, and I'm ready to light.
And that part,
everything about that looks amazing. So, Megan, my fingers are crossed on that one with you. That was just an amazing, amazing lineup.
So, because I don't think they have a stop here.
They're in Tampa, I believe, on July 26th.
There we go. Yep. Okay. Yeah, that's the Mid-Florida Credit Union Amphitheater. I love that amphitheater too. They actually have a lawn in the back where people could sit, bring your own chairs, and hang out if you want to watch it from there. I saw. Oh man, I can't remember. I saw Shinedown. Not Shinedown. It was Soundgarden, 9 Inch Nails, and the Dillinger Escape Plan there. Yeah, that was a show to remember. The best part was Trent Reznor, before they started their set, came out onto he came out onto the stage dressed like a janitor, pushing a cart. And like nobody thought anything of it. It's like he just,
That's
he came out,
awesome.
pushed out a cart, he went behind and got something. I'm assuming he got his mic out from under there, and they just started playing, and everyone's like, what? And half the people were at the bathroom, people are getting beers. And like I was one, I took a quick break from Soundgarden, I had to use the bathroom and I was coming back. And I'm like, I was hearing music. I'm like, what's going on? Everyone's like, are they starting?
That's
People
so
were running
cool.
for their stage. That was awesome.
That is so
I love
cool.
it. That was a great show. That was a fantastic show. So any case, yeah, so that's what they were with the, I wanted to call that out for people to, yes, Christina, I'm with you. I'm a little angry about, I can't say I'm angry because I know why they canceled the tour. It was a pandemic concern. But now the fact that, the pandemic has kind of seemed to push its way back, and now they could have really went forward with the tour, because I wanted to see Raven Black, who was on that tour, and I was like, so I was a little sad from that. But next year, and it was on your birthday. I'm sorry.
Just bottle up your emotions, and when I Prevail comes back on the stage, just let it all out. You'll be all right.
Just say bow down, and
Yeah. See, look at that.
That's all. Okay. Give me a second, because who is Aiden on with us, or is he not here?
I think Aiden is MIA this evening. I have not
Is
seen.
Okay, he'll have to see us later then, because he keeps asking every now and then when we do one of these, you got any pictures to share? I always have pictures to share, but because of these specific announcements, I wanted to share, my picture of Johnny from another festival. I mean, you want to see the intensity of Nothing More. There it is. And then, come on, Phil Bozeman from Whitechapel, because I love him, and they're great. They're fantastic. But I'll save this. I always save this one for last. That was from Bow Down.
That shot. Just
that was from Bow Down. Can't get better than that.
Yeah, that's just awesome.
I wish I could have gotten a little bit of the lighting better back here, but I mean, I couldn't have. I
really wish
have
they would have done like what they do with the school portraits, though, and like gotten some of those hairs out of the way. Like,
I could have asked for a better, just a time to shoot them to catch that. Yeah.
And Eric was there the whole weekend, which was just awesome. Like he was just chilling and enjoying the show. It was just really cool.
You should have.
Yeah.
Christina says, "Can you make that my Christmas card?"
Oh yeah. So that
funny.
was 6 awesome bands.
Yeah, 6 awesome announcements. I couldn't believe it. It's like, wow, I was so excited for it today. Yeah. It was just, to me, it's like, if you couldn't convince someone to buy tickets to come to this festival now, right? These 3 announcements today should have convinced a variety of people that, yes, I must be at the show. Nothing More Alone is just they're a fantastic festival band. I really feel they are. You remember how he said, like, there's certain bands built for festivals? I always feel that Nothing More fits right in that. They really are.
Oh yeah.
But I Prevail coming back to Blue Ridge after that crazy URW set on that stage. I mean, you can't ask for better. And then Alice effing Cooper. I mean, how do you top that? How do you top that right now? Yeah. So just as a reminder, we'll talk about the festival passes. So 4-day multi-passes are still at tier 4, 5 tiers there. The 3-day multi-pass is still at tier 3. There's 4 tiers there. The VIP passes, they're at level 4 right now, and there's only 4. So I'm telling you, they're gonna go, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go by the weekend. I honestly wouldn't be shocked if they don't. If they don't go by Monday, we come around and find out VIP's gone. That wouldn't surprise me. 3-day VIP passes are still available. They're at level 3. There's 4 levels there of those. The 4-day Rockstar pass. Remember, VIP is the side-by-side viewing area. A viewing area by the side-by-side being stages, private acoustic sets, air-conditioned bathrooms, private cash bar, and more. the 4-day rock star passes. There's no 3-day rock star passes. So there's the same thing that everything VIP gets plus the meet and greets and the Rockstar Lounge. They're currently at tier 3 and there's 4 tiers. So maybe the meet and greet and nothing more will help push those a little bit out the door. And then let's talk about camping real quick. So for camping, tent camping still at level 2. There's only 2 levels. RV camping's the same way. They're at level 2 and there's only 2 levels. Premium tent camping is gone. RV camping with electrical hookups that includes either a 30 or a 50 amp. They're at level 2 and there's only 2 levels. And then glamping is still not available as of yet. Not yet. And then don't forget, we also have the club experience artists, but you have to be a camper in order to buy them. And then on Wednesday, there's also the camping pre-party, and you have to be a camper to be able to see that. And we'll find out what artists are announced on. We're going to be there, I'm sure, at some point soon. Maybe when the full lineup comes out, we'll find that out. So that's our spiel.
That's a good
All
wrap.
right.
It's a hell
Good
of a
wrap.
week. We'll be back on Monday, 8 o'clock.
Maybe
Maybe.
sooner. Who knows? We'll see.
see.
Just as a reminder, if they're continuing, we'll see weekend announcements because they've been doing them so far as we go. So when we do, that would mean tomorrow we're getting number 99 and probably number 100. And I'm curious to see, will we get like something special out of that 100 announcement? To me, it's like if I was Blue Ridge and I was, running this festival, like if I'm going to drop a special announcement, like something that's really a big deal, number 100 to me should be the one. Because you've reached 100.
I really think that is when they should announce that it's Ricky Bobby. Just say, let's make it really special.
So someone said, where was it? I saw this. Hang on. I
got
to scroll back through. Yes, the Ricky Bobby tattoo. That's what you should get, a Ricky Bobby tattoo.
You think so?
Yes. Please.
Should I get a big cougar on my back?
If you want to.
No, I think I've already told you. I'm going to go ahead and hijack our ending of the call here for a second.
Okay.
So the next tattoo that I'm getting is going to be very unique and very individualized for me and my life. So for those that don't know, on January 12th this year, I sent my left kidney packing. I sent it off to Utah through the National Kidney Registry as an anonymous donor. And I have decided that the next tattoo I get after I'm fully healed and can probably afford to jack my body up some more, I am going to try to get some kind of a customized kidney jumping out of a plane on its way to Utah kind of thing right where my kidney would be. So if any of you are awesome artists and care to design that for me, it would be greatly appreciated. But I think, that's just, I feel like that's just needs to happen. Yeah, and even when I'm old and fat and it's wrinkled and ugly as hell, but yes, it's my kidney heading to Utah. That's what it is. So
there you go.
Courtney, it'll definitely be a happy kidney. Don't you worry.
There you go.
So, yeah.
Christina says you're a CT tech. No, I did not know that. Did not know that. But now we know.
That's right.
And knowing is half the battle. Sorry.
So on
that's
that
not
note,
a paid promotion.
on that note, guys, thank you for hanging with us tonight on a Friday night. Thank you for the support for the festival. Head to Blue Ridge Fan Zone. Give all the thanks to the admins, the mods for putting up with 33,000 of our annoying voices. Head over to BlueRidgeRockFest.com. Check out the lineup. Check out anything that you want to do. But get your friggin' tickets. They're going to go. I promise you they're going to go.
They will.
So that's everything I've got. That's a wrap for me. Bernard, always a pleasure.
And always a pleasure with you. Thank you, everyone, once again for joining. And we will talk to you on Monday at 8 p.m. We'll continue going over our announcements of the Blue Ridge Rock Festival taking place September 8th through the 11th of 2022. And remember, when we get these events out, share with your friends. Let's get more people in on the conversation. I've seen some new faces. It's great to see them. Thank you for coming, and we'll be back again on Monday. All right, take care, everyone.